Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another playoff preview, this time for round two of the LMSHL playoffs. Um, After a great first round of playoff action, we now look ahead to round two. So if you're looking to catch up in any of the action, you can check back on the previous video on the channel. Went over some stuff. What you're looking at right now is the updated bracket in the NHL, and we'll go over the AHL in just a little bit. But just to give you a quick rundown of a recap of everything that happened in round one, the big upset happening in the East, the Boston Bruins getting taken down by the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Leafs move on and the Bruins go home. Same can be said with Hartford. Hartford getting knocked out in the first round. Philadelphia moving on to round two. They play the Washington Capitals, who defeated the Montreal Canadiens. And the Tampa Bay Lightning defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins in round one. So we have Tampa Bay versus Toronto in round two and Washington versus Philadelphia in round two. And then on the West, we have San Jose and LA winning their series and Detroit and Vegas advancing as well. So San Jose will face off against LA and Detroit will play Vegas in the second round of the playoffs. So some more great matchups here. A lot of teams in here in the mix here with championship aspirations. So let's just dive right into the preview, shall we? So we'll get rid of this and we'll go look at the website. So we'll start in the East. We'll start with the Flyers and the Capitals here. So first thing we'll do here, we'll just take a look at the tail of the tape. So as you can see, it has been very one-sided in the regular season in terms of the Flyers and Caps. Washington is 6-0 against the Flyers. Philly is 0-5-1 head-to-head. These are the 5 and 7 seeds in the East. So Washington lucking out because they now have home ice in this series, and they could potentially have home ice in the conference finals should they advance and should Toronto advance. As you see to the left, they will play Tampa. Some more into the numbers here. So, like I just said, that Washington just defeated Montreal. Philadelphia defeated Hartford. They beat them in 5. In terms of the offense, these are very similar offenses in terms of production. Washington with a 3.38 goals for per game. Philadelphia with a 3.32 goals for per game. The big differentiator in this series is going to be the defense. So this is where the scales tip way in the favor of the Caps. So they have a 2.79 goals against, and meanwhile the Flyers are at a 4.71. So definitely a big difference there, and that will come to play in this series. Can the Flyers defense hold up against the Caps? If it can, the Flyers have a real good shot. You saw in round one, in 5 games, they took down Hartford pretty easily. The goal differentials also speak to the lack of defense in Philly. Minus 92 for them, plus 39 for the Caps. So it's really going to come down to how well does the Flyers defense hold up for them. I was a skeptic. I thought Hartford was going to beat Philly in round one. Obviously, that did not happen. Can the Flyers beat the Caps? They can. Will they? Again, I'm not so sure. Well, I was big on Washington going into this series against Montreal, and they did prove me right. I said they would win in 7. They actually won in 6. So what do I think is going to happen in this series? Well, I think Washington takes it in 6. Not a slight against Philadelphia. I would not be surprised to see if this series went 7 or if they won it in 6, the Flyers. So I think the regular season does not tell the whole picture. The Flyers roster has changed significantly. When you look at their opening night roster to now, it has changed substantially. However, I think Washington has the defense that the Flyers just don't have. I think Washington would take a shootout. They probably feel confident with the goaltending and defense that they have, that they could, if they put up 5 goals or 6 goals in a night, that they feel they have a great shot to win. The Flyers, on the other hand, if they get into a shootout, it could favor them because you have those great stars and Punisher and Silky and Laser and all these guys on Philly. They could definitely put the puck in the back of the net. It's just a matter of keeping it out. So it should be a fun series to watch for sure. But I do think Washington will take it in 6. So we'll go over to the website here just to take a look at a quick look at the Flyers and Caps regular season points leaders and stuff like that. So just take a quick peek. Like I said, Laser has 114 points. Delco Paul, again, another guy, 69 points in 33 games. Another superstar for them. Punisher, a mid-season acquisition for them. So his point totals are actually 118. This is just with Philly. Same could be Rudes, another guy who can really put the puck in the back of the net. Let's see. I'm not sure if we can see the playoff stats, unfortunately, but anyway, yeah. So you can see their top guys when available and when they're playing well, they can really score. I mean, Washington will definitely have their defense. They'll have their hands full. If we go back and just quickly look at Washington. Let's look at their top guys. So Notorious 717, he's got 83 points this season. Bats, he was a rookie for them, 79 points, a real strong season for him. Sports Our Life, 69 points. So again, they might not have the point totals that some of the guys in Philly have, but it's very deep, very consistent, very balanced offense in Washington. And of course, in the net, when Stangs is in net, he's going to give you a great, great chance to win. 228 goals against, 872 if you round up there. Save percentage with 2 shots this season. So I think it's really going to come down to the goaltending and the defense, and I have to give that edge to Washington. So again, I'll say Caps in 6. All right, so the next matchup we'll talk about here is Tampa Bay versus Toronto. So again, Toronto with a huge upset in round 1, taking down the mighty Bruins in 6 games. And Tampa Bay, they handled Pittsburgh pretty well. They lost, I think, game 4 it was, and then they came back and won like 10-0 in the second, and then game 5. So, not much worry for me with Tampa Bay. Again, this is another lopsided season series in the regular season. Tampa going 5-1, Toronto going a lowly 1-4-1. And it's if you look at these goals for and goals against for each of these teams, right? It's almost flip flopped in terms of how good and how bad. So like Tampa's big strength is goal scoring, almost 4 goals a game at 392, only 286 for Toronto. But meanwhile, for Tampa, their goals against is 298, and then Toronto's is a huge 481. So they will definitely need to keep the puck out of the net to have any sort of chance in this series. Tampa's such a strong team with a good mix and a good balance of top line stars like Trickster here, but also good depth on the forwards and on the back end. Tampa Bay's goal differentials plus 56, very strong, and Toronto's at a minus 129, not great. But all of that being said, they got out of the first round. So does any of this really matter? I don't think so. But I still think Tampa Bay probably takes this in 5 or 6. Toronto might get 1, maybe 2, but I just think Tampa Bay will get it done, and maybe they'll prove me wrong. And if Toronto gets to the conference final, good on them. But I think this is where their run ends. Great season, no matter what. I mean, you're really just playing with house money at this point. And same thing with Tampa, because I'm sure they have championship aspirations, of course. But being an expansion team, how with it being their first season, how far could they really go? And they're proving that if you build a team the right way, you can really set yourself up for success. And they now have home ice advantage in the East throughout the remainder of the Eastern Conference playoffs. And depending on who comes out of the West, they could have home ice advantage in the Cup final. So Tampa Bay has set themselves up great for a deep playoff run, and I think it continues into round 3. Let's take a look now at their site on the website here at their teams. We'll start with Toronto. Again, you should come to know these same few players here. K-Jack 15, 60 points, Jamar 43, Dikey 37, Stel Cracker 34. These guys are your Toronto mainstays. They're going to be playing next week against Tampa. So expect these guys to be in the lineup and to be big-time contributors as well. Jamar is one of the best defensive players in the league. Look for him to be a big force for Toronto's defensive approach against Tampa. All right, and then we'll look at the Lightning here right here. So you see they won 4-1. But again, like I said, they have a good mix of top-line talent as well as some depth. So you have Trickster and Control Hero, both 100-plus point seasons, which is fantastic. But you also have all these guys with over 25, 20 points here. You got 10 guys here with over 20 points. No touches right there at 17 as well. So all these guys, such good depth and good contributions from the Tampa Bay lineup. And then you look at the goaltending. Rukini, absolutely outstanding with a 2.56 goals against and an 8.56 if you round it up there, save percentage. So just awesome stuff in that. And this is why I think Tampa Bay, my official prediction will be Tampa Bay in 6, because I don't want to disrespect Toronto too much, because beating the number 1 seed in the East is no small feat. So I'll say Tampa Bay in 6. And so with that prediction, I predict a Tampa Bay versus Washington Eastern Conference Final, which would be very interesting. But we got to get there first. We got to get these games played. It's all just conjecture at this point. So we'll move to the West. We'll start with Detroit and Vegas. This has become a new rivalry in the league. Detroit being 3-1-2 against Vegas this year, 3-2-1. So pretty even, if you, in my opinion. Both teams getting 3 wins, a couple overtimes in there as well. So you can really tell they're evenly matched. And I think this series will probably go 6 or 7. It might just go 7. But we'll get there. Both teams having excellent regular seasons. Detroit having a 3.62 goals for per game and a 2.80 goals against. Vegas having a 3.80 goals for per game and a 3.12 goals against. So Detroit pretty solid defensively. That's what they've been known for these last few seasons. Just solid defensive play and great goaltending. And that has held true this season as well. But that's no shot to Vegas as well, because they have scored more goals per game, and they might give up a few more here and there, but overall, they make up for it, I think, with their extra goal scoring. Detroit having just a touch a bit higher goal differential at plus 54 to Vegas is 45. So again, this is probably going to be the most evenly matched series in this round, but Detroit cannot take Vegas lightly because of this new acquisition run like hell at the deadline. I think Detroit and Vegas did play twice with her in the lineup. It should be very interesting to see how Vegas deploys her against a good defensive team like Detroit. Not saying Dallas is not good defensively, but Detroit plays a very sound team defense structure. So what do I think is going to happen in this game, in this series? Like I said, I think it's going to go 6 or 7. I think it'll go 7. My official prediction will be Detroit in 7. I just think defense wins championships, and when it comes down to it, Detroit just has the better defense. If you look at their point totals, Gringo had a great year, 82 points. Snake was 76, Joker 46. Oh, here I am. Only 18 games though for me. I'm not even on the team anymore. But I am a non-contributing factor in this series. I'll just be calling some of the games probably. But yeah, Detroit. I think with their defense and their goaltending, it'll get it done. You look at Big Cheese and Irish. They shared the bulk of the NHL duties. I think Irish will probably be the AHL starter, and Big Cheese will be in the NHL, I believe. I haven't paid too much attention to that. But if you look at their numbers here, very similar, and they're very good. So either they give, Snake gives himself a chance each night with those two in net. So if we go to Vegas now, let's go here. So you look at these, they're total point getters, and these guys are not on the team anymore. They got traded at the deadline, but you need to replace them with, where's she at? Right here, run like hell, 26 points in 7 games, and this Dorito person. I mean, again, in our series against them in the first round with Dallas against Vegas, like this guy, he put up like tons of points against our team. It was unbelievable. So look for these 3 in particular right here, run like hell, Dorito, and Presti. They are going to be dangerous, and that's, if Detroit can lock those 3 down, they have a great chance at winning. But if they just light it up, it's going to be, it'll be a shorter series, and they will not win. No, these guys can play. Like all three of those guys, they can flat out play. So Detroit will have their work cut out, no doubt. But I also think Detroit's a bit deeper as well than Vegas, just a touch. So Vegas' second line might be able to steal a game here or there, maybe. And that's why I think pushing it to 7 will be very important for Vegas, because then they get these 3 back. And it'll just be a best on best, and that would be an epic, epic game. If you look at Vegas' goaltending, Kyle Wright music, or also known as Blue Man, I think, he's excellent. This season was 20, 10, and 2, 247 goals against with an 847 save percentage. So he's a really good goalie. He played phenomenally against us in Dallas in round 1. Vegas, they always have a shot with him in net as well. But overall, I do think Detroit has a chance if they can shut those big guys down for Vegas. So I'm going to say Detroit in 7, but I don't be shocked if it's Vegas in 7 or even Vegas in 6. Vegas is a strong team, no doubt, and they didn't luck into this either. They beat Dallas in 7, so they're a good team, and they'll keep on rolling if they have to. So now we'll go to the final matchup of the first of this second round here, and that is San Jose versus LA. So this is the battle of the BDHL, quote unquote BDHL expansion or merger teams here. San Jose with a surprising 5-1 record against LA. I think LA, again, a lot like Philadelphia and Washington. This is probably not telling the whole story here. Whether it's availability or other things, other factors that play into it, I don't think these records are truly indicative of how the teams have played. I think LA is a very strong team. They beat a very good Edmonton team in round 1. And if you look at these numbers, right, these goals for and goals against, I mean, these are 2 high-powered offenses. 4.59 and a 4.6 goals for per game, respectively, for these teams. Are you kidding me? I mean, we might see some fireworks in this series. This might be the most fun series to watch. If you like goals and offense, you'll want to tune into San Jose and LA. Also because they give up a bunch of goals too. So San Jose giving up 3.35 goals against, and LA giving up 4.24. So LA, I think I said this in my round 1 previews, they love to just run and gun, baby. It's quite fascinating to watch. San Jose's goal differential is plus 82, and LA's is plus 24. This is not a shot to San Jose, because I think 82 is a very strong number, but LA's 24, I think, is a little low. I think if you could extrapolate out the last like 10 or so games for LA, like post trade deadline, and you could extrapolate that out for an entire season, you'd probably see a lot different number. I think LA is a lot better than the numbers show here. And with that in mind, I think LA takes this series. If I'm being honest, I think they probably take it in 6. If we go here, I just want to go through LA's, and we'll go through San Jose's, of course, too. But you look at Drysdale, 161 points. Like, are you serious, dude? Washko, 141. So, like, when you have your top 2 guys, that's what, 300 and, like, over 300 points. That's like 300 and, I think, 12 points, I think that is. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's just 302 points. That's just nuts. Like, unheard of. And then you have Baslin with 76 points in only 16 games. Like, what? Like, I think he was traded here as well. Yeah, he was. He actually had 92 points in 24 games. So it's like, you see what I mean? Like, you add in Baslin. Buckeye started out this season as owner at some tumultuous times in LA during his tenure. MLN has gotten them as righted the ship here. So, like I said, I think the numbers that I just presented are a little underwhelming for LA. I think they're much better than those numbers show. If we look at San Jose, LA beat Edmonton. It's pretty similar. Like, you have a couple guys with over 100 points. And She Love DJ and Buckeyes, they lit it up this year. And then you have some decent depth down here as well. The Punisher does not play for them anymore. Wulu Wade is on there. Silky, I believe, is on Philadelphia now. Yes. So yeah, you have like a lot of turnover in San Jose in terms of some of the players. Um, but if you look down here, you have Rip, who is one of the better goalies in the league with 3 goals against and an 8.36 save percentage. So he gives you a decent chance to win every night as well. So San Jose could, any of these teams that from here on out could definitely win. I don't want it to make it seem like they got no shot, because trust me, there's plenty of these teams have a shot. But I just think LA is the better team. I think they have the star power to get it done. And if it goes to a game 7, I think they just have the better players to get it done and move on to play in the Western Conference Final. So I just realized I didn't look at LA's goalies real quick. I think it's Dark Times. I might be in net. You have a couple of guys in here. Sinks official. Sinks is also their goalie too. He has a 313 goals against and pretty much an 800 save percentage here. So not as good as Rip's numbers, but still serviceable enough to get the job done. So I still think, even with the goaltending, you probably get the advantage of San Jose. I still think LA gets it done in 6. I'll say LA in 6. So if we go back to the bracket here, so I have LA in 6, Detroit in 7. I'm pretty sure I said Detroit in 7, Washington in 6, and then Tampa Bay in 6. Those are my official predictions. Would I be shocked if they don't come true? Absolutely. I could definitely see Philly getting an upset. San Jose could get it done, and certainly Vegas. I think Toronto. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm hating, but I do think Tampa Bay is the stronger. I thought Boston was stronger, and they proved me wrong last round. But I think Toronto's luck will run out in round 2. But I'm rooting for them. So I'm rooting for all the teams. I just want to see some good hockey here. But I do think Tampa Bay will get it done. So before I leave and end the video, I do want to give some love to the AHL. So really quick, so we'll go through the bracket here. I'm not going to go through all the stats again, but we have Hershey moving on. We have the Utica Comets beating the Providence Bruins. So both Bruins teams are done. And we also have Laval and Syracuse rounding out the East. And then over in the West, we have Henderson against Ontario, and then Bakersfield taking on Grand Rapids. So really quick, my predictions for these series: I will take Hershey in 5. I will take Syracuse in 6. This is a fascinating series in Bakersfield and Grand Rapids. I'll take Bakersfield in 6, and then I'll take Henderson in 5. I'll take Henderson in 5. All right. So there you go. There you have it. My round 2 playoff previews. I'm not sure if I'll come back with another video in this week. We'll see. I might have some stuff going on outside of this. I'm not sure though, and we'll have to see how the games in the series shake out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see additional in these videos. I do enjoy making these, but if there's anything that you'd like to see added or anything like that, feel free to let me know. And enjoy the games this week. Good luck to all the teams, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night.